parents and relatives, our PGP2s, alumni, our chief guest, Mr. Saugata Gupta. Thank you for those inspiring words. Faculty and staff, Sabari, our chair admissions, Padmini, our chair postgraduate programs, Reggie, our chair fellow program and management, Kumar, our dean alumni relations and development, Abhay, our dean programs, Gopal, who's had to step off, our dean faculty, and Narasimhan, our dean administration. Well, on 17th of May, I think Pallavi Chakraborty, is she here? Wrote 28 days to go. Just 28 more nights till I reach the place to be, highest pitch. Eager am I, dream coming true, awaiting action, ever ready crew. Excitement knows no bound, cherish, scream out loud. I was speechless when I came to know my confirmed voyage to Bengaluru. Counting days, uncountable times, my mind is now full of chimes. As I stepped close, hurried but measured, popped out eyes can see the treasure. Adrenaline rush like never before. Well, bring me some more. Tenacity multiplied, accelerated much. Every day, it's like having Popeye's spinach. Just 28 more days to be with you, to be colored with the bee hue. Maybe it was meant to be as we reach the place to be. Of course, I think many of you have shown that there are sort of poetic capabilities in you, and many have wonderful ways of countdown, the kind of imageries you used, 7 days to go, and using the 7 musical notes, and 6 days and 5 days. And it's wonderful feeling for us that your sense of anticipation has been so much, and that you're finally here. Well, you have come to a place where I just like to lay out what vision we see for ourselves. And that is to be a global, renowned academic institution fostering excellence in management, innovation, and entrepreneurship, having impact on business, government, and society. You're now part of that, whether you like it or not. 2 or 4, 5 years to go as a student, and then an alumni forever. So you are going to be one of the important stakeholders to help us achieve that vision. It was really nice to hear Saugata. And what are we doing? Now, of course, in a way, it was nice that most of what he said is really on you. And in many ways, our philosophy here is also the same. We are essentially an institution that facilitates learning. Actually, we really don't want to be seen as teaching, right? The responsibility for learning and, in a way, building all those values is entirely yours. But as part of that facilitation, what do we attempt to provide? Well, one is, there is a certain loading of pressure, and what it does is, it helps one discover one's own capability through focus and stretch. And I think that's a very important self-discovery. Team building. You will work across multiple groups, and to be able to just deliver whatever needs to happen over these years. The idea of how do you work with teams and appreciating multiple perspectives, right? Saugata mentioned about the dependent world, and I think that's a critical sort of value that one can imbibe. So in many ways, that's what the program is. Honestly, parents may not like to hear this. Honestly, management is not rocket science. It's a lot of good common sense, and that's what we try to get across and keep on reinforcing. Well, talking of Mariko and the IIMB connection, I have a little business quiz question. There is this movie called Key and Ka. How many of you have seen it? Okay, a few hands up. It's very timely to talk about it today because it has two connects. Anybody wants to hazard a guess? What's special about what's happening today from the movie Key and Ka? Yes. He's the house husband and he wants to experiment being that. And he's from IIM Bangalore. Well, a different way of leading life, and why not? Of course, all the tensions associated with it. The other connect is with Mariko in Key and Ka. I don't know if you know about it. Okay, he knows about it. Huh? Well, yeah, okay, it was shot in... but also in terms of, I guess nowadays movies also put out brands, right? I mean, movies select a certain brand. If you always want have the protagonist have a certain drink, then you actually connect with a certain brand and make sure that all the time that's what is being shown, because that's another form of advertising. So in the Primetime Awards, Saffola, won a silver for the best integration of a brand and movie. I mean, Saffola is Mariko's top brand, right? No. So that was in Key and Ka, and of course, apart from where it was shot in. Well, okay, so going on from, all the good foodie stuff that Mariko brings out, and your parents are here, and this is one of my favorite values I'd like to drive home, and that is, I'd really like to see that you move into our mess for your dining, that you take on zero plate waste as a mantra, as a value. I don't want to keep saying, how many people are hungry out there and food and this and that, but I think it behoves on us that we take exactly what we think we'll eat and finish it. And if need be, take multiple trips to, if you need to pick up more food. To be very conscious about how much we need to be eating. Because you're now moving from home environment where maybe your parents had a certain, control on that, but coming into our dining hall environment. The other value that I'd like us to get is this campus, as you can see, and as many of the parents appreciated, we pride in keeping it as clean as possible. And I keep saying, we are 95% clean, but that's not good enough. We've got to be 99, 100, 100%. And many times it's how we sometimes leave things or drop waste so let's be conscious about that. And it's not just about wanting to keep this campus clean. I think these are some fundamental values which, if it grows on us, it's just good for us in the long run. Well, we talked about 28% gender, 28% women here. Well, on one hand, of course, Sabri said we ought to be doing more, but just on the positive side, 28% is not too far from the number of women taking CAT. I think that's just a little on the positive side of 30%. So if you take those who have taken CAT and then begin the process from there, and there, this is a challenge to many of the parents, is, why is it nationally, and challenge to all of us as parents, why is it nationally that fewer women are taking CAT itself? And I think, at some level, we need to begin from there. I recently read something about, I don't know how true this is. This is from a TEDx talk, or actually saw it on video, where they say that implicitly, women have been brought up to appreciate or even strive for perfection, while, men have been brought up to appreciate courage and bravery. And therefore, risk-taking, which today is very essential, seems to have an implicit gender bias. So I think these are things for us to think about and see how we can work around it as a society. Well, around this is the issue of stress. As I said, the program can be stressful for many of us who are not used to the kind of expectation of work habits here for the study. Sometimes it could get to us. And with the relative grading, and if one feels stressed out, please reach out. Never hold it to oneself. Reach out to friends. Let's remember that all of us have come into this institution being amongst the top. And therefore, there's nothing that, is inadequate in us. So please learn to reach out. There are many mechanisms here. Friends, faculty, we have counselors. So I think that should be important. And I would also hope that in some sense, at least in the early period, parents would at a certain level, at an arm's length level, be watchful of it. Well, finally, let me end with one of the values that Mariko puts out, and that is the purpose of life is a life of purpose. With that, thank you very much, and welcome once again to IIM Bangalore.